Hey guys, welcome to our video on adding integers. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and grab your ISN, grab a pencil, and then grab a few color pencils. We're going to be using that to kind of identify a few concepts, so it'll be really helpful. Grab those things and then meet us back here. Alright guys, so the first thing you want to do is turn to page 15 in your Interactive Student Notebook. Go ahead and label that page 15 and write your title, which should be Lesson 1.3A, add an A beside that, adding integers, and then write today's date. Once you do that, we're going to move through the rest of the notes relatively quickly. So if you need to pause, remember you can definitely pause this video, rewind it, do what you need to do in order to understand, okay? So let's jump into things. We need to draw a straight line because we are using Cornell Notes, so go ahead and draw your straight line a little off center, not directly in the center, but off center. And once you do that, we're going to start with our Roman numeral 1. What are integers? Okay? So, right beside where you wrote what are integers, go ahead and write A, which is our first point. Integers are numbers that include whole negative numbers, 0, and whole positive numbers. Go ahead and write this series of numbers and then these labels underneath those numbers. You can use your colored pencils to do this now. Keep in mind that I have placed bullet points, which means that this set of numbers goes on infinitely. So when we're talking about integers, we could be talking about -3. We could be talking about -3,000. If it's a whole number, it's negative, positive, or 0, then it's considered an integer. Let's go ahead and move on. Skip a line and then go ahead and write Roman numeral number 2. We're going to talk about our adding integer rules because there are certain rules that we need when we're adding integers. Okay, right beside that, go ahead and write A. Our first rule is that if two numbers, or 2, 3, 4, 5, however many numbers you're adding, if they have the same exact sign, meaning they're both positive or they're both negative, you need to add the two numbers together and keep the sign. You can write that down now. For example, if we have -8 plus -3, we'll add 8 and 3 together and we'll keep the sign that the two have, which is negative, which means our answer will be -11. Draw your squiggly line out to the side. This example shows us that if we have a positive plus a positive, it equals a if we have a negative plus a negative, it equals a negative. All right. Second example. If we have a positive, I jumped ahead of myself. If we have a +4 plus a +5, we can add the two and keep the sign of what these two had, which is going to be positive, which we end up with +9. Draw your squiggly line out to the side and note that when we have a positive plus a positive, it will equal a positive. Go ahead and write this down into your notes. All right. Go ahead and skip a line. We're going to move on to B. So what if you're adding two integers that have different signs? If the numbers have different signs, you're going to subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the higher number. Okay? Whichever number is higher up, that's the sign that you're going to keep. So let's do two examples. For our first example, we have -8 plus 5. Okay? So to kind of model this for you, I'm going to put brown dots, which are going to represent my -8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? And then I'm going to put 5, I'll use my blue. I'll put 5 blue dots to signify our +5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Now the rule says that if I have different signs, I need to subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the higher number. Well, if I go ahead and subtract 8 from 5, that gives me 3, which one's the higher number here? Clearly it's 8 because there's more of 8 than there is of 5. So my final answer will be -3. Okay? Just like you did in your adding integers lab, if I go ahead and circle these and zero these 0 pairs out, because remember when we have a negative and a positive put together, that means it equals 0. So if I go ahead and circle these and zero them out, all my negative and positive pairs, what am I left with? I'm left with 1, 2, 3 negatives. So as you can see, my model directly matches my answer to my problem. Go ahead and write this example and the modeling into your notes at this time. All right, we're going to do a second example, but pause the video and see if you can do it first. See if you can use this rule to apply it to adding 4 plus -2 and see if you can model it as well. We'll come back with the results. All right, if your answer was, if your answer was 2, then you're correct. Let's look at this model really quick. If I know that I have 4 positives and 2 negatives, when I zero out my negative and positive pairs, I'm left with 2 positives. Okay, so let me clear this up a little bit. Our answer here would be 2 because we subtract and we keep the sign of the higher number, which here's 4. Alright guys, we're going to pause here because I actually have a song to teach you about adding integers. So, the song goes to the tune of Row, Row, Row Your Boat, and it goes like this. Same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. And if we want to remix, we can go. Same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the higher number, then we'll be exact. Okay. Alright, so I'm about to flip back to our ISN so you can write down these lyrics in your notes. Go ahead and write this down into your notes. Pause, and when you're finished, we'll move on. Alright, so now that we have this in our notes, I want you to practice these problems using the integer rule song, okay? I'm going to do the first one with you. Let's sing the song to ourselves. Same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. Alright, so let's look at our first ones. We have -2 plus -6. Are the signs the same or are they different? Well, let's sing the song. Same signs add and keep. Okay, so we know we have the same signs. So we add these two together and we keep the sign. Okay, so our answer here will be -8. So let's go to our second one. Same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Okay, so since we have 2 different signs, that means we need to subtract these 2. Alright, we know when we subtract 5 from 4, we get 1, but it says keep the sign of the higher number. What's the higher number here? Is it 5 or is it 4? Definitely 5. So our answer is going to be a positive 1. Then you'll be exact. Okay. Go ahead and solve the rest using the song and we'll come back for the answers. Alright, here are the answers to the other to the other 3 problems. If you missed a problem, go back, read the song, sing it again, memorize it, and try your problems again. Once you finish this, you can move on to the next activity. See ya! Oh, I forgot one more thing. Extra credit for someone who can tell me after you finish this video verbally, what is the significance of this hat to me? Somebody tell me what is the significance of this hat to me. Okay. Also, you need to learn the song because there will be an oral quiz on the song very soon. Hint, hint, wink, wink. See ya. For real this time.